Hello, and thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, we'd really appreciate it if you would. Today we're looking at a Lenovo TIO24 Gen 5 monitor. This is only a monitor and comes with nothing but a power adapter and the actual screen and stand itself. It's a Tiny In One because it will accept a tiny PC such as this one sold separately to be installed into the back to make your own all-in-one, which I really like. You can also connect an external computer and just use it as a monitor, and there's a USB-B port on here that'll allow you to still use the webcam with microphone, speakers, and there is a USB Type-A, which is easy to get to for a thumb drive or something like that. The biggest change between this and the previous generations, and why I skipped even doing a Gen 4 video, was that this is the first one with an HDMI video input. I know that doesn't sound special, but the previous generations only had DisplayPort, and that's really hard to adapt from anything but DisplayPort to go into the monitor. A lot of people wanted to connect a game system or an external computer with HDMI. That actually requires a converter to go from HDMI to a DisplayPort screen, and this one, having native HDMI, is a step in the right direction. We'll go over installing a tiny PC inside, as well as how to connect an external PC and maintain the functions, including touch if yours has touch. Let's get started. This monitor is 23.8 inches diagonally, 1080p 60 Hz IPS 16:9 display, 1080p webcam with integrated microphone, two 3-watt speakers, DisplayPort 1.2 and HDMI 1.4 inputs, USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A and a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type B to connect to an external PC. It supports ThinkCentre M-Series tiny PCs internally. Looking at the monitor, you've got a webcam at the top. It does tilt independently of the screen. It's also got a privacy shutter, which I really like, so hopefully people don't put tape on them, and it's red when it's not in use. The microphones are on the sides here. Pretty hard to see, but they're little pinholes. Do have some speakers down here, as well as buttons including volume for the speakers and power. Got a little USB Type A. You do have to have the USB on the back connected or a tiny PC to be able to use it, but it's a nice place to be able to plug in a flash drive quickly. On the back, you've got the Lenovo Slim Tip Power, HDMI, full-size DisplayPort, and a USB Type B. If you're not going to use this as a Tiny In One, you're going to want to run a cable from here to the computer. I'll put a link in the description, but it's kind of an odd duck. It's a USB Type A and then a USB Type B 3.0 on the other end. A little hard to find. Most people won't have them just sitting around in their home. As far as raising and lowering it, you just push and kind of pull to make it go up and down. Of course, it does tilt the whole screen too, and then you can rotate it to a portrait view, which is kind of cool. But in Windows, you'll have to, change that in your settings because it's not going to auto-detect that change. This is a dummy where you put in the tiny PC, so you can pop that out. There's a cover here where the antenna for the tiny can stick out, and then if you open this up, this allows you to get to the other ports on the back of the Tiny too. I forgot to mention that there is a hole down here so that your wiring can come through for a keyboard, mouse, Ethernet, second monitor, or whatever you need. Got it hooked up to our Tiny PC externally. I'm powering the PC on its own. Got an HDMI cable from here to here for video. Have another power adapter connecting the monitor to power, and then a USB A to B 3.0 cable, which goes from the computer to the monitor so that you can still use the webcam, microphones, and then this USB Type A on the side here. You could connect any computer this way. At a minimum, you need the HDMI for video, but you could also connect like a game system for HDMI video as well. To install a tiny PC that's compatible inside the monitor, first we have to remove this kind of dummy cover to open it up. And then we're going to pop this cover and open that side. You can see the connectors that are going to plug in to these ports on the back. Then we're going to take it with it facing with the Lenovo up, slide it in this way with the feet on the bottom there. Push it all the way to the side, and then you should see it actually come together right here and click in. Once you get that installed, there's thumb screws to help secure it. And then at that point, you could put your antenna on and pop it through the cover up here. Sorry, it's kind of hard to remove with one hand. There you go. In order to have the antenna be able to stick through. Notice you can still get to plenty of your ports. In fact, I left an adapter in there, but this supplies power, video, and one USB so that it works with all the functions of the screen. Once you tighten both of the thumb screws, you can close this up, and then you can reconnect power here. And now it's going to pass power through from the screen to the PC. Now we've got it all connected. Just going to press this power button. You can see the power light comes on, and I can hear the fans of that PC spinning up. You can see it's temporarily in standby mode. Then you should see the Lenovo boot screen. There it goes. You can see it says AIO mode up there, so it knows that the tiny PC is installed. But I do like that they gave it an input button here on the back, right here. So once this gets booted up, we'll toggle inputs so you can kind of see how that works too. All right, so now we're at a screen. So I'm going to hit that input button. You can see AIO mode. Switch it to the DisplayPort using the little thumbstick on the back, or HDMI, and then you press in the middle to do the enter, and that switches the mode. Of course, we don't have anything else connected at the moment, so it's just going to go into standby until I put it back into AIO mode. There you go. Really like this design. I've sold several of these as Tiny In One all-in-one PCs, and I really like it for that purpose. But I've sold a few as well as just a monitor with a nice built-in webcam, microphone, and speakers. I like that it's more flexible than the previous generations. It's kind of silly that it took them this long to add HDMI, but I'm just appreciative that, you know, it's still a good quality screen, IPS display, 60 Hertz refresh rate. I like that it's height adjustable, which is nice, and that it rotates is a really cool feature too. There is a monitor that fits as a second screen really well with this, so I'll put a link to that in the description as well as a link to this one. And if you can use those links, it really helps support our channel. If you have any questions, let's get them in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if there's anything you want to add I didn't include, get that in the comments too. I'm always glad to learn something new. Thanks.